On the morning of August 30th, 2013, California Highway Patrol officers informed the parents of 19-year-old Bryce Laspisa that their son's car was found wrecked, driven off a 25-foot embankment near Castaic Lake. But there was no sign of Laspisa to be found. Friend, before we go any further, I would like to humbly request you, please subscribe to my channel so we can reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Your support truly means the world to me. In the early hours of August 30, 2013, 19-year-old Bryce Laspisa was on his way to his parents' house in Laguna Niguel, California. At 2 a.m., he called his mother to tell her he was pulling off to the side of Interstate 5 in the Sierra Pelona Mountains. It was the last Michael and Karen Laspisa ever heard from their son. What should have been a 3-hour afternoon drive turned into half a day of agonizing waiting. When the doorbell rang the next morning, the Laspisas rushed to the door, hoping, praying to see their son standing there. Instead, they were met with a nightmare. Bryce's car had been found, wrecked, near Castaic Lake. There was no trace of Bryce Laspisa, and to this day, none has been found. Hello viewers, today in this video I will tell you whole story of one of the most tragic and baffling missing persons cases of recent years. So, without wasting another moment, let's begin the video. Bryce Laspisa's happy childhood. Before the trouble began. Bryce Laspisa was an only child, born on April 30th, 1994, to Karen and Michael Laspisa in Springfield, Illinois. He showed artistic talent early on, and his easy, charming manner made it simple for him to win friends. In 2012, Bryce graduated from Naperville Central High School, just outside Chicago. His parents, newly retired, decided to move the family to California, settling in Laguna Niguel, Orange County. Soon after arriving, Laspisa moved north to Roseville, just 90 miles past Sacramento. He was about to begin his freshman year studying graphic and industrial design at Sierra College. His first year went smoothly. He got good grades, formed a close friendship with his roommate Sean Dixon, and began dating fellow student Kim Sly. During summer break, he told his parents, girlfriend, and friends that he was eager to go back to school. All seemed well, and his future was bright. Laspisa turns to substance abuse. When Bryce Laspisa returned to Sierra, 2 weeks before classes were to resume, he seemed fresh, eager. Karen described a phone call they had after his return as normal conversation. He attended classes and reunited with his friends. Soon, however, Laspisa's life seemed to slowly unravel. Sean and Kim noticed subtle changes in his behavior. He was becoming more withdrawn, erratic, depressed. Kim recalled that Laspisa admitted to taking Vivanza, an amphetamine derivative used to treat ADHD, a condition he didn't have, with severe side effects including psychosis, depression, and mania. Sean Dixon reported that Laspisa began drinking hard liquor every day, as much as 2/5 in a single weekend, and confirmed Sly's claim that his roommate had been taking Vivance. Laspisa confessed to Kim that he'd taken the drug to stay up playing video games and, although she was alarmed, he seemed dismissive. Something seemed to have gone terribly wrong with him, but no one was quite sure what had happened. Bryce Laspisa's increasingly unusual behavior. Before his disappearance, according to Sean and Kim, Bryce's use of Vivanza became alarmingly frequent during the first 2 weeks of the fall semester. On August 27th, he broke up with Kim by text message saying that she'd be better off without him. He also sent Sean an unusually heartfelt text message reading, "I love you, bro, seriously. You are the best person I've ever met. You saved my soul." That same day, he'd given Sean his Xbox and gave away a pair of diamond earrings given to him by his mother. On August 28th, Sean called Karen Laspisa to tell her that he was worried about her son. Later that night, Bryce called his mother. He was at Kim's home, and she was concerned enough about his behavior that she'd taken the keys to his 2003 Toyota Highlander away. Believing that he was in no condition to drive, he informed his mother of the argument, and Karen quickly convinced Kim to return his keys and told her son to go home to bed. Karen offered to fly north to check on him, but he told her, "Don't come until I've spoken to you tomorrow." He said, "I have a lot to talk to you about." He left Kim's apartment at 11:30 p.m. A long, fateful drive into the California night. At 1 a.m. on August 29th, Bryce Laspisa called his mother once more. Although she assumed he was calling from his apartment, phone records later showed that he'd called from a location about an hour's drive south of Rocklin. Then, at 11 a.m., she and her husband were notified that Bryce had used their insurance's roadside assistance service. A man named Christian, owner of Castro Tire and Gas in the town of Buttonwillow, reported that he'd delivered 3 gallons of gasoline to their son after he ran out of fuel around 9 a.m. Christian offered to return to the spot where he'd seen Laspisa. There, he discovered Laspisa hadn't moved in hours. Christian approached to tell him that his parents were worried and called them to let them know their son's location. Laspisa agreed to make the 3-hour drive home, and Christian watched as he drove off around 3 p.m. Hours passed, and still, the Laspisas hadn't heard from Bryce, so they reluctantly filed a missing persons report with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. By tracking his cell phone, 2 officers were able to locate him just a few miles from where Christian had seen him. The officers reported that he seemed lucid and friendly and showed no signs of intoxication, nor were any drugs or alcohol found in his vehicle. The police told Bryce that his parents were worried, and when he seemed hesitant to call them, they finally dialed for him. Karen told him to come home and called Christian to check on him. By this point, Michael and Karen were relieved when Christian called to confirm that their son had gotten back onto I-5 and headed south. Bryce Laspisa's baffling disappearance. At 2 a.m. on August 30th, Bryce Laspisa called his mother one last time to tell her that he was too tired to drive anymore and would pull off the road to sleep. She agreed with the decision and expected to see him in the morning. But when the doorbell rang 6 hours later, it wasn't their son the Laspisas found at their doorstep, but a California Highway Patrol officer. Laspisa's car had been found abandoned near Castaic Lake, the rear window shattered, and his phone, laptop, and wallet were inside. But there was no trace of Bryce himself. Surveillance footage showed that at 2:15 a.m. he'd turned onto an access road rather than pulling off for a roadside nap. Divers dredged Castaic Lake, but found no trace of him. Police dogs tracked his scent across a bridge to a nearby truck stop. Then, the trail went cold. What happened to Bryce Laspisa? On September 4th, 2013, charred remains found near Castaic Lake were found not to belong to Bryce Laspisa. 4 years later, a skull found off nearby Templin Highway was likewise ruled out. Similar reports over the years have also left investigators empty-handed. Without a body, detectives were unable to close the case. A number of theories were proposed to explain Laspisa's disappearance. That he'd left behind his phone and wallet could indicate that he intended to abandon his old life for a new one, either under an assumed identity or off the grid. It's possible that his drug and alcohol use provoked a psychotic break, or withdrawal from Vyvanse caused a sudden, severe depression. It's also possible that he did die on or around the night of August 30th, and his remains have yet to be found. Whatever the truth, his disappearance was a tragedy for those close to him. "I'll never give up hope, but it's really difficult," his mother told reporters. "It's gut-wrenching, every day not knowing. It's a living nightmare." As of August 2023, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released an age-progressed image of Bryce at age 29, urging anyone with more information to come forward. In the years since his disappearance, no further clues have emerged. His parents still issue missing persons posters and remain hopeful that someday they'll learn the truth. Viewers, this was the whole story of one of the most tragic and baffling missing persons cases of recent years. What do you think about this chilling story? Share your thoughts in the comment box below and let us know how you feel about this gruesome act. Thanks for watching. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling true crime stories. And remember, if you or anyone you know is battling dark thoughts, don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional. The weight of these stories, they can take a toll. So please, take care of yourself. Until next time, and I'll meet you in a new interesting video.